In 2026, we all know that AI can write good apps. They can suggest you better architecture. They have enough data to judge which type of thing will work. Do we need to learn system design or designing a good system or not? I think these questions comes when we misunderstood what front-end system design or any system design actually is. What I used to think about front-end system design specifically when I was beginner and learning about system design is that it's about choosing what framework, what Next.js, what libraries or what type of CSS are we going to use. Of course, it is part of the process. It is part of the designing the system, but it's not only limited to this. It's actually more about how should the client, your browser behaves or the user behaves under real world constraints. So there is a terminology called radio. So it goes like before designing anything, before thinking about anything, we have to gather all the requirements that the product have. What is the core user story? What will be the user journey? What is the happy flow? And what are the constraints that we are talking about? Then comes the architecture, the high level entities that is the application will be monolithic SPA, single page application, or it's a multi-page application, or it's a micro front end. So, and what type of framework library. So all this kind of things comes under architecture. So next comes the mo data model. What type of data types will be shapes, and are we going to normalize the data, or it will be nested structure, or what will be the caching strategy on the client. So all these type of things comes under data model, and then comes the interface definition, basically the API, how the front end will interact with the backend API, how the front end will handle error, will it show some kind of toast or something like that. Then the authentication, of course, how we are going to communicate with the API for the secured resources. Then the last part comes as optimization, the bundle size optimization, image loading optimization, tree shaking, and all the fancy stuffs that we see in the inspect tab, that waterfall and SEO and core web vitals. So, and the accessibility, all these terminology we have to consider while building, while designing any kind of system, whether it is front end or back end. So let's take an example. Let's take an example of a very uh, simple app. It looks simple, but it's not actually simple. So let's take an example of WeTransfer. I think we have used, few of us have used WeTransfer. It's a simple file sharing website where we upload stuff and we get a link for that, and that our resource will get automatically deleted if we want. So when I was beginner and someone asked me this question, then I would have thought that most of the things is happening on backend. The backend is handling the file storage. The backend is creating the link. The backend is deleting the resource after a certain amount of time, and the front end only have to think about the pages, the upload, the progress, and the share link button. So I should think about when I was beginner. But as I read about it, then I knew, and we have discussed that what we have to consider while building, while designing any system, that we have to gather requirements. So before building it, we will ask that do we need some kind of, do we have some kind of constraints, like is there any cap to upload file? Is there any maximum file size upload? Can user upload multiple file at once? Or is there cap for guest user? Can user log in before uploading? So all these kind of questions we need to ask. Then we have to think about can browser handling? Should we upload in chunks? Or what if the when we are uploading 10 GB file and the in middle of it, the connection goes out and the file uploading gets stopped. Are we resuming from where it left, or we are starting from a new file? All these kind of things we have to ask before building anything, before thinking about anything. So it comes as that system designing is front-end system designing is mostly about requirements, data flow, constraints, and how we are going to manage state in your application, how you are going to manage failures and performance. Performance is very last because we have to think about the performance when we have built something, but we have to take this into consideration that yeah, how are we going to optimize how are we going to reduce the bundle size and all that fancy stuff that we read about on blog articles. So yeah, after all these things, after all these steps, then we start the coding. So this is it. This is how we think about system design. Not It's not related only to the library. I hope you like this video. I'm also learning, and I'm just sharing. I'm just sharing what I have learned. And if you have any doubts, or if you have any suggestion, then you can drop those in comment. I would be happy to discuss. Thank you for watching.